Welcome guys to the third episode of Patience. I don't know if I can call that an episode, but still, I hope you like the first two. And let me just remind you that this album will be out on May 6th. It's pretty soon, and it's still my birthday, if that's relevant to you. Anyway, let's talk about music. So now let's get back a few minutes with the chimes, with some actual music. So the first problem that I got is that those chimes are tuned in A432 Hz and of course not in 440. So I had a problem with that. I either had to tune down all my instruments or tune up the chimes during the post-production stage. I ended up doing both, and more on that on another video. But basically the end and the beginning of the album are not tuned in the same way, and I think it happens in a way you don't even see it. So I think I got the idea from Jacob Collier, very likely at least. Anyway, the first track is pretty much the introduction and exposition of the theme, and with a strong chimey presence. And the second track is the first time we have the harmony, the basic harmony I was talking about in my previous video, you know, Aqua, Terra, Aria and Ignis, which are again basically a D minor, C major, A minor and G major. So it's a very basic and actually mainstream chord progression, but of course there is a thing with that. So I was saying 8 notes. So the voicing is actually pretty large, and there is a 4th or an 11 added, but I chose to play it in a very special way. So the D minor with the 4th sounds like this, and then it's again a very simple chord progression, and you don't actually even need fingers to play that. I mean, you can just do that, and it works. It has some kind of dissonance with the 2nd and the 4th, and as long as you play also the bass, it still makes sense somehow. So yeah, I started with that. So that is my basic chord progression that has been, of course, tweaked and changed like the theme all across the album, but it's there. But what is cool is that the first exposition of the harmony was done entirely with the chimes and with some glitchy stuff. So let me show you that in Ableton Live. So now we're in Ableton Live. This is the Take Your Time session, and of course I'm not going to show you a lot of it since the album is not out yet, but still here is some cool things. So the first track is done, and it's actually here, and what I kept was 2 things. First thing, there is an ambience that I use a lot in this album and that I record with my Zoom H6, which I'm using right now to record my voice, and birds in my garden, basically. And that blended with the chimes that I tuned up like 2 octaves and some vinyl crunch things. So it sounds like that. So you have the birds, the chimes, and the vinyl crunch, and it's a color that I like. It's a pretty much, I guess, modern electro, hip-hop, trip-hop, lo-fi stuff, but still, I like it. And the first exposition of the harmony is done with the chimes here, and I basically recorded it with a stereo microphone, just recorded like this. just so I could have something I could use, and it ended up with this. So you really have those 4 chords, D minor, C major, A minor, and G major, basically. And I processed a bit with compression, distortion, and the glitch thing, and it sounds like this. And it just repeats. And at the beginning it's very centered in the middle, and with time it just go all the way, pan left, right, and it slowly, each chord is like distributed in the stereo. So pretty cool effect, I think, I hope. And so it's a bit tweaked, it's a bit chopped here and there, and it sounds like this. And on the vocal section, after that, even though you are only going to hear the chimes, they are still here, but in a more reverse ambience way. It's not exactly the same sound, and it sounds like this. And so yeah, I really like this blend of texture and the chime with the high register. It really had some movements and some little elements to a very basic chord progression. So it's pretty cool, I think. Do you think it's cool? Anyway, I'll do other videos about this more in depth, probably, depending on my schedule. And yeah, so that's it. See you tomorrow, guys.